I'd rather work with great founders on a not great idea than not excellent founders on a great idea.
How to invest in Airbnb Tourism Rebound. Remember the property that you had and you couldn't really use it? You had to sell it. Say no more to that. If you're a person who has been into real estate by any chance, then you might be familiar with Airbnb. An online marketplace, stock code ABNB, brings together those looking for accommodation in particular areas and are looking to rent out their homes. That's correct. Now, if you have a spare property, you can easily rent it out with the help of Airbnb. And guess what? You will get a pretty good amount of passive income. Just like that. So if you're interested to know more about Airbnb and the different ways to invest in this venture, then you must watch this video till the end. And if you find it useful in any instance, immediately hit the like button. The number of likes will help us figure out how many of you are going to invest in Airbnb and how many of you are going to earn some good money. Without any delay, it is time to dive into the video. A US-based company called Airbnb Inc., often known as Air Bed and Breakfast, enables property owners to rent out their rooms and homes to tourists looking for a place to stay. Shared property with private rooms, an entire property for oneself and other visitors, or shared accommodations for multiple individuals is all options for renters. When two hosts invite three guests to stay at their San Francisco house in 2007, the business was born. Since then, more than 1 billion visitors have been received by 4 million hosts in practically every nation on Earth. In addition to 100,000 cities and towns having active Airbnb listings, the company claims that there are currently 6 million active listings worldwide. Airbnb claims for a significant increase in tourism as a result of pent-up demand as the coronavirus epidemic retreats, but the supply of suitable and desirable destinations has been identified as the biggest potential challenge since the firm went public at the end of 2020. The biggest concern of the investors is the profit or the return associated with the investment in real estate property. There's a big what if in the minds of those investors, as what if there are no potential tourists? What if there's no profit? And what if their property gets destroyed? So these are some of the questions that are inevitable for an investor not to think about. More than 6.5 million rooms, apartments, and homes are listed on Airbnb's website in more than 90,000 places worldwide within a span of 11 years. Each night, 2 million people, or 500 million since 2008, sleep in an Airbnb property. Forbes assessed the company's value at $31 billion, 23 billion pounds, at the year 2018. On a similar note, the founders Gebia Chesky and the co-founder Nathan Blezerchik were also anticipated to receive a tremendous fortune from Airbnb's first public offering, which was supposed to happen in the year 2019. But as we all know, pandemic hit the world and everything went on standby. The sector that was severely affected due to COVID was tourism. The net worth of Airbnb is expected to be $113 billion in the year 2022. Now, you must be wondering how you become a part of this trend and earn money without even doing a thing. So, here are some easy ways to invest in Airbnb. Number 1, look for a suitable city. By suitable city, we don't mean it in a conventional way. Rather, a city where the rate of tourists visiting is usually more than the others, thereby leading to investment and will help you earn profit. Now, when you're looking for a city, you must keep in mind the following things. 1. Laws and regulations. The laws and regulations are something you need to be on the lookout for while investing in Airbnb property. Many well-known tourist locations have cracked down on short-term rental homes in recent years. Certain areas have explicitly forbidden Airbnbs and holiday rentals. Non-owner occupied rental properties have been banned in some cities. As a result, property investors are unable to purchase an investment property and rent out the entire unit. In such places, the only people who can rent out their homes on Airbnb are those who reside there. 2. Tourism predictions and statistics. As we've already mentioned, when you search for a city, it is really important to check the statistics before actually investing in it. Even if certain seasons are hotter or cooler than others, the ideal Airbnb market is one that welcomes lots of visitors. 3. Occupancy rate of Airbnb. The amount you charge for rent in your Airbnb and the amount of rental money you will make are not the only considerations. You should also research the average Airbnb occupancy rate in each city. Although you may be able to generate a lot of Airbnb profit margin with a high average daily rent and a low Airbnb occupancy rate, you should preferably look for a location that strikes a balance. Number 2, investment in Airbnb via stock market. After you decide on the company in which you have to invest, it becomes easier for you to fill out the checklist before buying the stocks or even investing in it. Moving ahead, we presume that you have an account through which you will do further transactions. The NASDAQ, National Association of Securities Dealers Automated Quotations, which is open for trading from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m., has Airbnb listed on it. Most brokerage accounts, if not all of them, should allow you to purchase Airbnb. A foreign exchange fee, typically around 1 to 2%, is charged when purchasing shares in US dollars. When purchasing US shares over UK shares, most brokerages also charge a somewhat higher transaction fee. But if you intend to trade US shares frequently, it is still wise to compare the rates charged by various brokers. You will need to fill out a W-8BEN form, which is good for 3 years and lowers the withholding tax on eligible U.S. dividends and interest payments from 20% to 10%. There is a risk of foreign exchange as well when you trade in U.S. shares. Number 3, invest in Airbnb via funds. Direct stock investment can be an interesting and presumably lucrative endeavor. You can also be eligible for shareholder benefits particular to the firm in question. However, investing directly in businesses might expose you to stock market turbulence and unexpected fluctuations in share values. Because of this, financial experts advise the majority of investors to invest in funds that have a ready-made portfolio of up to 50 distinct firm shares and a broad mix of asset classes. Since it is a sizable multinational firm and a significant player in the U.S. stock market, Airbnb is included in numerous global, U.S. equities, and index tracker funds. Number 4, do the math. Evaluating the statistics of doing necessary calculations can save you in the long-term deal. The figures are the most crucial factor to consider before selecting whether or not to continue a business, just like with any investment. Try listing one of your investment properties on Airbnb if you have several to see how it works and what is the profit and returns you get from it. Things like how much should you charge or how frequently are the rooms getting filled. Additionally, you could always use Airbnb to rent out your personal property or primary residence. Number 5, innovations. The homes that are well designed and carefully photographed are the ones that are rented out most frequently on Airbnb. So get to work and unleash your inner interior designer. Even though it's vital to avoid being excessively creative with the decor, as you do want to appeal to a great majority of people, after all, you must be careful about the fact that some people willing to rent your house might not like the overboard decor of your house, but a little creativity is absolutely acceptable, and in fact, it's encouraged to be a little artistic. Number 6, target your customers. It will be easier to sell your property if you know exactly who you want to rent it to. You'll need to uphold your half of the agreement and deliver on opulent experiences if you want to draw in higher-paying visitors. Be prepared to put in the work required by consistent tenant turnover if, on the other hand, your property's daily rent gives you a competitive advantage. Whatever the characteristics of your ideal customer are, make sure to highlight any features of your property that you are aware that the ideal renter would want or value. Number 7, investments without owning property. If you are one of those persons who do not have any property of their own and still wishes to invest in Airbnb, then you shouldn't be worried about not owning the property. Instead, you should follow the simple tricks that we're going to tell you, and you will be good to go and invest like a pro. So what you can actually do is become a mediator between Airbnb and the house owners who are willing to give their house for rent and earn profit. Confused? No worries. So how it works is you approach the house owners for renting out their property, and your work will be just to convince them to invest their property in Airbnb, allowing all the parties of the deal enjoy their share of profits. This tactic is equivalent to Airbnb's furnished house rentals, except it exempts you from signing a lease. You approach the property owner who wants to rent it out. You could begin by explaining to them how they may earn 2 to 3 times as much money by hosting guests on Airbnb. The homeowner will undoubtedly be perplexed by this and want to know more. The difficult part is finding the appropriate landlord. Your offer to run their home as an Airbnb comes into play here. With no risk involved, you receive all the advantages.